How often do you use your strengths to achieve your goals? Do you even know what your strengths are? So when we talk about strengths and happiness, we're actually talking about character strengths. And knowing what they are and making them part of your regular practice is a great happiness booster. Hi, I'm Marianne from One Life to Flourish. Welcome to tonight's episode of Monday Motivation. This is episode 6 of The State of Happiness, where we're looking at character strengths. What are they? Why should we use them? And how do we actually do that? So basically tonight we're going to have a little bit of a closer look at the second aspect of happiness. Before we get into that though, just a little bit of housekeeping. So if you know someone who might be interested in finding out a little bit more about their character strengths and how to use them, then please invite them over. And also this broadcast is going live in a couple of places, so please make sure that you've followed the link that is hopefully up above me to make sure that I can see any comments. So thank you for that. Otherwise, I'll try and catch up with you after the broadcast. All right, so back to our topic for tonight. So I'm looking at the second aspect of happiness, which is engagement. And last week I looked at one part of that, which is getting into a flow state. Now, understanding our strengths can actually help us to get into a flow state much more easily. So what am I actually talking about when I'm talking about these strengths? What they are actually character strengths, or sometimes called your signature strengths. And they're probably best described as being positive aspects of who we are. So they represent our strong capabilities, and they're also the things that really engage your interest. They kind of have an energizing effect on you when you're using them, and they just feel comfortable to use as well. So it's kind of a natural sort of thing. Now, signature strengths were first researched sort of in the early 2000s, and they came out of the whole idea of positive psychology and actually looking at positive emotions rather than negative emotions. So researchers actually came up with a very extensive list of character traits that they then tried to whittle down to just what ultimately ended up being 24 of them. And they wanted to make sure that the traits were relevant across different cultures, different times, different generations. So they kind of had meaning for a longer period of time. Now, they brought them down to 24 of these traits, and then they grouped them under 6 different, what they called virtues. And these form the basis of the research into character strengths. And they're also the ones that you can actually find out about by going to the VIA character questionnaire. So I'm just going to put the link to that. If you haven't ever done this, it's a really interesting thing to do. It does take a little bit of time. There are quite a few questions, but it's really interesting to actually get that information about yourself. So definitely something to check out. And you can also go to that website to find out a little bit more about the strengths themselves. So it's entirely free, unless you want to pay that they have, but you can find out your strengths for nothing. So what is actually the point of going through that process and finding out your strengths and then actually using them? So because this has come out of positive psychology, there's actually been a lot of research around the impact of these strengths. I've already mentioned a couple of things that they have as an impact. The reality is that they actually just generally help to increase our overall feeling of happiness. And this is no matter where we are. So it could be in our home environment, when we're at work, all the different things that we do in our life. When we're using them, we get a boost in our happiness. Now, they also really help with us feeling more engaged at work. Good or bad, that depends on how you feel about work. But if you're not feeling great about work, maybe using your strengths can actually help with that. And they've also been found that they'll actually increase your productivity and your overall satisfaction with your job. So it can help also with stress. So if you're feeling stressed, by actually thinking about using your strengths and how to use them, putting that in place can actually lower your levels of stress overall, which is really quite a good thing, particularly work stress. And they just kind of make you feel like your life is more flourishing. So on questionnaires about, how positive overall you feel about your life, people who regularly use their strengths have been found to just score much more highly on those kinds of checklists. So they can definitely make you feel more balanced emotionally, mentally and physically, and just kind of set yourself up for a much more balanced sort of life. And also, because of the way they work, they make you more focused and therefore more able to achieve the things that you want to achieve, particularly if it's specific goals that you've set for yourself. Now, it's also quite interesting that the more of your top strengths you use regularly, and by this they mean 4 or more of them, then this actually increases your overall feelings of happiness and life satisfaction. Now, there's also, like, the research into the character strengths has gone on since the early 2000s. It's still going on. So more recent research has actually found that it's also useful to know what your sort of middle strengths are and your lesser strengths are, and actually try and find ways to build them up. And by doing that, they've found that it makes you more adaptive to different situations in your life and also a bit more flexible. Now, over the last 6 years or so, I've actually taken the VIA questionnaire, I think 3 times. Maybe I'm just curious to see what's going on, but each time I've basically had the same results. In particular, my top 3 strengths have been consistent. The order's changed a little bit, but they've been pretty consistent. My other top strengths have swapped around a little bit, but currently my 2 top strengths, which are equal pegging at the moment, are curiosity and love of learning, followed by creativity, judgment, and appreciation of beauty and excellence. Now, for me, that kind of made sense when I found that out, because I love learning. I'm always curious about stuff. I want to find out why things are the way they are. I'm always reading and listening and, just trying to find out. So discovering that information about me really helped me to understand myself, but also to just kind of play to my strengths a little bit more. I thought a little bit more about what kinds of tasks I wanted to do, what kinds of things made me feel energized rather than, kind of down and a bit bored, and why things like that did make me feel that way. Now, since then, finding out that, doing some things with your middle and lesser strengths is useful, I have tried to work on some of them, but I still really go back to my, top 5 strengths and use them a lot nowadays. But it's interesting to actually try and improve on some of the other ones and bring them into your life more. Now, the key thing to do to actually do something with your strengths is to actually find out what they are, and then there's particular ways that you can actually put them into your life. So, for example, with my love of learning, obviously that's about me keeping on learning. With curiosity, it's actually trying to find, new and different things to learn, new and different things to do to kind of capture my attention. So when you find out your strengths, then you'll actually find some ways to actually try and bring them into your life. So remember, the more you bring them into your life, then the greater it will boost your overall happiness. So I would really encourage you to actually go and do the test, see what your strengths are, and actually see how you can start using them. You'll probably be surprised as what comes up as to how much it actually is like you. It is like the things that give you, that joy and that enthusiasm. So it also, as I've said, going to help you get into flow a lot more and achieve things a lot more easily. So see how you go with that. I would love to find out how you go. And basically just see what you can find out. Really would be interested. Okay, now just talking about going with some of your middle or lesser strengths. At the moment, I am putting together a program for people who are absolute beginners, who are really wanting to get confident about getting up live on video, just like I'm doing tonight, and kind of working through things that scare you about it, some of the thoughts that get in your way, all of those kinds of things. So it's a very beginner's course. We look at some of the tech things and that side of it as well. So if you are interested in finding out more, then please get in contact with me, or in the comments just post the word more. So that can be if you're watching live now or later on. Now, also, because I am talking about happiness, if you want to get started on building some happiness habits, then have a look at my Happiness Habits Playbook, which is a support program more than just a book. It's a self-paced course that can actually help you to build some happiness habits into your life. And I will put the link to that into the comments as well, if you would like to click on that. So thank you for joining me tonight for Monday Motivation. Hopefully you are motivated to go out and find out what your strengths are, and to just get some inspiration to make some changes in your life and just boost your overall happiness. So join me next week, where I'm going to talk a little bit more about the idea of engagement and things that can engage us and boost our happiness. So I'll see you then. Good night.